A very good afternoon to you all, captains, and welcome aboard. This is your captain, Captain Simwin speaking, and before we get started with today's flight, I've got some exciting news. I've been promoted to fly for Delta Airlines in my virtual career that's being orchestrated by A Pilot's Life Chapter 2, provided by SimBit World. So this means that we'll be shifting our focus and our home hub to Los Angeles International Airport, which is just marked as KLAX. So today we are kicking off our first Delta Airlines journey or flight with a flight from our new home, that being Los Angeles, and we are flying all the way up to Portland International Airport, and we'll be doing this again in a first for this specific channel and this specific flight in the Phoenix A319. Boy, that's going to be such an experience, coming from the A320 and the A321 and even flying outside of the Airbus range, flying the 777s and the 747s. It's going to be quite an experience flying a smaller bird for today. So like always, we'll be utilizing Beyond ATC for our realistic air traffic control. We'll be utilizing self-loading cargo to manage the cabin operations, and we will be utilizing GSX for some ground services. And just like how I like to issue this disclaimer for my seasoned viewers as well as the captains who are joining me for the first time on this video, I just like to disclaim that please note that this is just a simulation and some procedures may be skipped or overlooked for the sake of pacing and entertainment. And also at certain points I will be handing over radio control to the Beyond ATC AI assistant so that I can focus on piloting the aircraft. And just as another heads up, what I've then decided to do with these videos is also have a cruise and chill session. So we will be cruising while listening to some lo-fi music in the background. So that entire cruise section of the flight, as well as some of the climb, will have ATC orchestrated by the Beyond ATC AI assistant. So get ready for this immersive experience as we navigate the skies together. Let's begin and jump into the aircraft. Like always, we're going to start by powering up our aircraft. So we're going to turn on our battery 1 and battery 2, and then proceed to turn on our external power. Then we're going to turn on our emergency lights and proceed to turn on the no smoking signs. Following that, we're going to turn on our probe and window heats and flip the nav and logo switch to position 1. From there, we're going to jump over to our oxygen panel and turn on the crew supply, and then also turn the ground control and flip our evac switch to the captain's side. For navigation purposes, we will be switching on our ADS in the following sequence: ADS number 1, 2, and then 3, and then we will be waiting for the on-bed signal to extinguish. Right, I just want to introduce some cabin, some overhead panel brightness over here, and then just do the same for the panel that's just below me. Okay, right, we've got enough brightness, and that is our aircraft powered on. So we've got around 7 minutes for the ADS to line up, and while that is happening, let's just move on to our EFB. So we're going to head on to our main page and just import our flight from SimBrief, and then we're going to head on down to our mess and balance page and request for the aircraft to be loaded through GSX and have it loaded and fueled through GSX. So we're going to request that.
Refueling truck is on its way.
Awesome. That's our aircraft being fueled and loaded up. I just want to jump to our pilot briefing page so that we just have a brief overview of today's flight. So for today's flight, we will be departing Los Angeles International Airport and we'll be flying to Portland International Airport. Our expected time of departure is 16:05 with a 20-minute window for pushback and taxi procedures. The allocated cost index for today's flight is 60. We've got average winds coming in from 314, coming in at 0.66 knots, and we've got an average wind component of minus 0.55, and that indicates that we've got quite a heavy headwind for today's flight, so we should be taking an impact on the fuel. Now for the allocated flight altitude or cruising altitude for today, we have been given flight level 360, and that is 36,000 feet. And the fuel that we'll be carrying on board today, we've got a block fuel of 9.3 tons of fuel, with 10% of that being carried as extra fuel just in case we have extended taxi procedures, as well as if we do need to perform a go around at the arrival airport as well. And then we can just move on to our routing page and just take notes of our routing. So with regards to the routing, our very first waypoint that we have been allocated is the scatter waypoint, and then our last waypoint before we perform arrival procedures is the Spencer waypoint. So we're just going to make a note of that on our spreadsheet and then jump on to our Navigraph charts. From our Navigraph charts, what we want to do is open up the ground charts for our departing runway, our departing airport, and just take note of key frequencies. So we're going to start by taking note of the ATC frequency. So we have ATC coming in from 135.65. So we're just going to note that 135.65, and then we've got clearance coming in from Los Angeles clearance, and the frequency is 120.35. Alright, those are important frequencies noted. Let's just tune into our ATC just so that we can get a picture of the weather conditions today, as well as get the allocated runway for departure. So 136.65. So we're going to key in 136.65. Alright, let's have a listen to the ATC and just have a view outside the aircraft to see what's happening. It's 135.65.
Conditions. Landing runways 25 left, 24 right. Departing runways 25 right, 24 left. Advise on initial contact, you have information uniform. Los Angeles Airport information uniform. 1516 Zulu. Wind 160 at 3. Visibility 10. Few clouds at 7,000. Scatter at 18,000. Scatter at 25,000. Temperature 13. Dew point 05. Altimeter 3012. VFR conditions. Landing runways 25 left, 24 right. Departing runways 25 right, 24 left. Advise on initial contact, you have information uniform. Los Angeles Airport information uniform. 1516 Zulu. Wind 160 at 3. Visibility 10. Few clouds at 7,000. Scatter at 18,000. Scatter at 25,000. Temperature 13. Dew point 05. Altimeter 3012. VFR conditions. Landing runways 25 left, 24 right. Departing runways 25 right, 24 left. Advise on initial contact, you have information uniform.
Alright, and that's our ATC report for today's flight. So we've got the allocated departing runway 25 right or runway 24 left. got temperatures of 13 degrees, and we have got cloudy conditions today with the information uniform. So let's just jump back to our charts and just have a look at what we have today. Let's have a look at our loaded chart. It's covering runway 24 left, 24 right. Okay. Just want to have a look at all our departing charts. Alright, we have quite a lot of departures. So what I'm going to do is just tune into clearance and then proceed to ask for clearance, and we'll get our SID from ATC. So clearance is from 120.35.
Completed. Bypass pin inserted. Locking gear.
Just set out throttles appropriately. Los Angeles clearance, good day. This is Delta 2459 at gate 24 with information uniform, requesting clearance to Portland International Airport.
Delta 2459, Los Angeles clearance, information uniform correct, cleared to Portland. Summer to departure, SCTR transition, then as filed. Climb via SID. Departure frequency 125.2. Squawk 5112.
Cleared to Portland International Airport. Expect runway 24 left on the summer 2 SID with a transition at the scatter transition. Departing frequency 125.2, squawk code 5112, and climb via SID. Delta 2459.
Negative, summer to departure, SCTR transition, then is filed and departure frequency 125.2.
It's the summer 2 departure on the SCTRR transition, then is filed and departure frequency 125.2, Delta 2459.
Delta 2459, read back correct. Contact ground 121.65 when ready for pushback or engine start.
Contact ground on 121.65 when ready for pushback and engine start. Delta 2459. Alright, and that was our first clearance from Los Angeles.
American
Quite a lot of
2746,
information
ready
to
to pick
take
up
in.
IF our clearance to Dallas-Fort Worth Airport.
Just going to tune into ground frequency. Okay, and then just note down our clearance. So we have an expected departure from runway 24 left on the Summer 2 departure, and a transition at SCTRR. Our departing frequency is 125.2, and then our squawk code is 5112. Alright, I think we got that right. Okay, let's just key in our usual. So it's our QNH. QNH is so we have a QNH of 3012. And then we've got a squawk code of 5112. Turn that on, and then we can just head to our FMC. Right, go to the ATC menu, AUC menu, go to our received messages, look at our provided load sheet and accept that. And we're gonna go back, AUC menu, flight initialization page, and request the data. Okay, and then we can hit ATC on the right hand side and just copy the information across, and then hit our init page. So for today's flight, we are departing KLAX, KLAX, and we are heading down up to KPDX. Can insert that, and then let's just see if we have a loaded company route. KLAX to KPDX. Right, computer doesn't find that. Alright, so our flight number is Delta 2459. Key in that, and then as per our flight plan, we have a cost index of 60 and a cruising altitude of flight level 360, so 36,000 feet. And then we've got ground temperatures of 13 degrees. Okay, can key that in, and we are done for now on our init A page. We can then head on to our flight plan. We are departing KLAX on departure. Then we are departing via 24 left on the Summer 2 departure. And then we've got our transition at scatter. Got our transition at scatter, and then we can just insert that. Alright, can now key in our routing. So from scatter, From scatter we fly direct to SNS, and then from SNS we fly direct to RBL. From RBL we fly direct Spencer or sponsor. And then we can insert that, and then we are planning for an arrival on runway 10 left, ILS 10 left, via Timber S3. And then our transition point should be sponsor.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome on board this self-loading cargo service. Please place your large bags into the overhead locker.
I'm just going to have a look at our flight plan on this side and then look for last waypoint.
Duty-free and loose items of clothing. Once you have safely stowed your cabin bag, please take your seat. To help us ensure a prompt departure, we would kindly ask that you keep the aisle clear, enabling all remaining customers to board. Your seatbelt can now be fastened ready for departure. This is a no-smoking service. Thank you for observing this policy.
There we go, here's our sponsor, and then insert that. Okay, can return this to the XO menu, and we'll just wait for a final load sheet. For now we can just have a brief overview of our flight path. So I'm going to flip this to plan, and then just look for any unwanted discontinuities. So like I said, we'll be flying up, so we're flying north, continue heading north, continue heading north. Alright, and then we have an intentional discontinuity at this point, but again this will be cleared up once we receive our arrival via from ATC, and it will join these points nicely. So we should be making a right hand turn and then positioning ourselves for landing. So our flight path and plan look good. And just switch on the constraints, and then let's just have a look at our allocated departure, standard instrument departure here. I want to have a look at the initial climb, if we have any constraints also. Okay. So we will be taking off from 24 left, and as you can see at Fabra we have our first constraint, which is 3,000 feet, and that will be our first altitude that we key in. So we just want to key in 3,000 feet. Awesome. And our aircraft seems to be fully loaded at this moment. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on the APU fuel pump, and then turn on the master switch, and then proceed to hit the start switch, and then we can just jump outside to listen to the APU startup.
SkyWest 5621, gate 80 taxi via Yankee. Hold short runway 24 left.
Gate 80 via Yankee. Hold short runway 24 left, SkyWest 5621.
SkyWest 5621. Cross runway 24 left at Yankee. Continue taxi via Yankee, Bravo, Charlie 10, Charlie, Charlie 6.
Cross runway 24 left at Yankee. Continue taxi via Yankee, Bravo, Charlie 10, Charlie, Charlie 6, SkyWest 5621.
Alright, and that's our APU startup. I really love that sound, it never gets old. Gonna proceed to turn on all
American
our fuel
764,
pumps.
ramp
And then
329,
before I
request
complete
pushback.
that, just want to key in all the other information. So under our received
American
messages,
764,
we've got our
Los
final
Angeles ground.
load sheet
Pushback
from the
approved.
ground crew,
Face south.
and we can key in this information. So we're going to
Pushback
accept
approved.
it,
Face south. American
head to the
764.
init B page, and then we're going to key in our information. So we've got a zero fuel weight of 56.2, and then we've got a zero fuel weight center of gravity of 30.0, and we're going to key that in. And then we've got a fuel in tanks of 9.3 tons. Just key that in.
American 409er, Los Angeles ground. Pushback approved. Face north.
And then, like I did say, we do have a bit of a strong headwind. It's supposed to reduce our extra here in our time, so I'm going to key that in. It's at -0.55, and let's see the figures change. So headwind, that should reduce. There we go, that is reduced due to that headwind. So our init B
Delta
page is
480 heavy,
complete.
gate 139er,
And do our
request
performance
pushback.
calculations. So you're gonna head to our EFB and then go on
Delta
to
480 heavy, Los Angeles ground.
takeoff
Pushback and
calculations. So
engine start
24
approved.
left
Face
will be
west.
dry. Sync it with the final load sheet. Sync with the final
Pushback
weather.
approved. Face
Then
west.
calculate.
Delta 480 heavy.
So we've got speeds of 151, 51, 56, 1, 0.7 up. 51, 51, 56, 151.
Delta 408 heavy, gate 32 alpha, request
151.
pushback and engine start.
156. Then got 1.
Delta 408 heavy, Los Angeles ground. Pushback and
up?
engine start
Let's
approved.
double check.
Face north.
Oh, 0.7 up in 68. So
Pushback approved.
0.7
Face north. Delta 408 heavy.
up and 68.
American 764, request taxi
Okay.
to the active.
And that's our takeoff calculations. Key now V2 there.
American 764, runway 24 left taxi via Charlie 17, Charlie,
And then
Lima,
flip out
Echo,
TKS
Romeo.
to TA. Continue on the up panel.
Runway
So all
24
our
left
fuel
taxi
pumps
via
are
Charlie
on,
17 Charlie,
We can
Lima,
turn on
Echo,
our APU
Romeo,
bleed.
American 764.
just to get some air going through the cabin, and then we can proceed to disconnect our external power.
American 409er, request
Can
taxi.
turn on our seatbelt sign, and then we can proceed to turn on our
American 409er,
Beacon
runway
light.
24 left taxi via Mike, Delta, Kilo, Echo, Romeo.
that should just prompt the ground crew to begin
Runway 24 left taxi
setting
via
up
Mike,
for
Delta,
pushback procedures.
Kilo, Echo, Romeo, American 409er.
So we're just gonna jump outside and just reposition out the cameras, capture the pushback.
Delta 480 heavy, ready to taxi to the active. Release parking brake.
Delta 480 heavy, runway 24 left taxi via Delta 10, Delta, Echo, Romeo.
Release parking brake, please. Runway 24 left taxi via Delta 10, Delta, Echo, Romeo, Delta 480 heavy. Release parking brake, please.
Alright, and then we are going to
Southwest
request for
727, gate
pushback and
16,
engine
request
start as
pushback.
well.
Release parking brakes, please.
Southwest 727, Los Angeles ground. Pushback and engine start approved. Face north.
Release parking brakes, please.
Pushback approved. Face north. Southwest 727.
Los Angeles ground, Delta 2459. Request pushback and engine start.
Release parking brakes, please.
Delta 2459, Los Angeles ground. Pushback approved. Face north.
Pushback and engine start approved. Face north, Delta
Release parking brakes,
2459. Alright, so we will be facing the north. Let's just change our direction and then facing north.
Delta 480 heavy, contact Los Angeles Tower 133.9er. Take care.
Release parking brakes,
Awesome.
please.
Alright, we can release our parking
Over to
brakes.
tower
Okay.
133.9er, Delta 480 heavy.
Turn on our clocks
Release parking brakes, please.
and then proceed to
Delta 408
release the
heavy,
parking
ready to
brake.
taxi to the active. All engines clear. Start at will.
Delta 408 heavy, runway 24 left taxi via Delta 10, Echo Romeo.
Runway 24 left taxi via Delta 10 Echo Romeo, Delta 408 heavy.
Arm doors.
Southwest 727. Taxi for departure.
It's safe to start the engines now.
Southwest 727, runway 24 left taxi via Delta 8, Echo Romeo.
Let's head outside to listen to the engine start up.
Runway 24 left taxi via Delta 8. Echo Romeo. Southwest 727.
American 409er, contact Los Angeles Tower 133.9er. Have a good day.
Over to Tower 133.9er, American 409er.
Southwest 727, contact Los Angeles Tower 133.9er.
Contact Tower 133.9er. Southwest 727.
Delta 408 heavy, contact Los Angeles Tower 133.9er. Have a good day.
If it fails to inflate or needs topping up, blow into the tube.
Contact Tower 133.9er, Delta 408 heavy. Take care.
Carry flotation aids for children. Your tray
Can
table
proceed
must
to
now
start
be
our
pressed
other
down,
engine.
Window blinds open and seatbelt
The
fastened.
CFMs seem
We
to
wish
be
you a pleasant
quieter
flight, and thank you for
Waiting
than
your
the
confirmation for a good engine
IAEs.
start.
American 764,
Not much of a
contact Los
basic
Angeles
growl.
Tower 133.9er.
Over to Tower 133.9er. American 764.
Okay, the basic growl comes in a bit better when you are on the inside of the aircraft. But there we go. Got 20 on the N1 and a veil has been indicated, so we can confirm good engine start.
Cockpit to ground. We have a good engine start. You can disconnect.
And let's set up our flaps. So we've got a flap 1 departure. Awesome. And then we can head back to the front and set up our trim. Got a trim of 0.7 up.
Unlocking gear.
Here we go, our trim is set up. Alright,
Tow truck disconnected.
let's have a look at our flight controls.
Delta 451.
Full left,
Pushback.
full right,
Delta 451. Los Angeles ground. Hold position for traffic. I'll call you back.
alright, our flight controls are
Hold
set.
position. Delta 451.
Where is the ground crew? Must be hidden behind one of the pillars, but that's okay. We'll see them walk away. So now that our engines have been started, we can proceed to turn off the APU bleed and then turn off the APU master. Okay, there we go.
Delta 1438. Gate 37 Alpha. Request
There
pushback.
he leaves. Now with the engine started, we can proceed to request taxi to the active.
Delta 1438. Los Angeles ground. Pushback approved.
Just set up for
Face
a
southeast.
rejected takeoff. Should we need to do one?
Pushback approved. Face southeast. Delta 1438.
Los Angeles ground, this is Delta 2459. Request taxi to the active.
Delta 2459. Runway 24 left taxi via Delta 9er. Echo Romeo.
Taxi to runway 24 left via Delta 9er, Echo Romeo. Delta 2459. Alright, we can proceed to taxi. That's a crazy taxi in the background. Alright, let's proceed to let go of our parking brake and then taxi to the runway. Add a bit of throttle. Cabin crew is ready.
Delta 1438. Request taxi to the active. Delta 1438. Runway 24 left taxi via Delta 9er. Echo Romeo.
Let's just wait for traffic to go
Runway
past.
24 left taxi via Delta 9er. Echo Romeo. Delta 1438.
There we go. Let's continue our taxi as well.
Delta 451. Los Angeles ground. Pushback approved. Face north. Pushback and engine start approved. Face north. Delta 451.
Aeromexico 649, gate 141, request pushback and engine start.
Delta 1438. Contact Los Angeles Tower 133.9er. See you. Contact Tower 133.9er. Delta 1438. Aeromexico 649. Los Angeles ground. Pushback approved. Face east.
Pushback and engine start approved. Face east, Aeromexico 649.
Delta 2459, contact Los Angeles Tower 133.9er. Have a good day.
Contact Tower on 133.9er, Delta 2459. Bye bye.
Delta 451,
another
ready to taxi to the active.
Taking off.
Delta 451, runway 24 left, taxi via Delta 9er, Echo Romeo.
Runway 24 left, taxi via Delta 9er, Echo Romeo, Delta 451.
Alright, we can stop here and then tune into tower.
Delta 678 Heavy at gate 131, request pushback.
So set our parking brake. 133.9.
Delta 678 Heavy, Los Angeles ground, pushback approved. Face north.
Pushback and engine start approved. Face north, Delta 678 Heavy.
Aeromexico 649, ready to taxi to the active.
33.9. Right. Turn on our takeoff lights. Turn the nose gear on to take off. Turn on our strobe lights. And then proceed to continue array. Predictive wind shear on. Weather on 1. Terrain on 2. Takeoff config test. We've got normal. Okay. Los Angeles Tower, Delta 2459, holding short runway 24 left, ready for departure.
Delta 2459, Los Angeles Tower, wind 160 at 3, fly heading 250, runway 24 left, cleared for takeoff.
Cleared for takeoff, runway 24 left, Delta 2459. So they gave us a heading of 250. Let me key that in quickly.
All aircraft be advised, information Victor now current, altimeter 3014. Los Angeles Tower, SkyWest 4106, visual runway 24 right.
250. Please the parking brake.
SkyWest 4106, Los Angeles Tower, wind 220 at 5, runway 24 right, cleared to land.
Let's make it onto the runway.
Runway 24 right, cleared to land. SkyWest 4106. Delta 451, holding short, runway 24 left.
Alright, and you're nice at the line.
Delta 451, hold short of 24 left, departing traffic.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's take off.
Wilco, hold short of 24 left for traffic, Delta 451.
main flex. Oh, nice sounding engines there. Keep on the center line.
Delta 451, runway 24 left, line up and wait. Line up and wait, runway 24 left, Delta 451.
Nicely done. Scout side, gear up.
Air Mexico 649, ready for departure. Runway 24 left.
And there we go.
Delta 451, Los Angeles Tower, wind 220 at 5, fly runway heading, runway 24 left, cleared for takeoff. Fly runway heading, runway 24 left, cleared for takeoff, Delta 451.
Throttles to climb.
Aeromexico 649, runway 24 left, line up and wait.
Runway 24 left, line up and wait. Aeromexico 649.
Delta 2459, contact SoCal departure.
Contact SoCal departure, Delta 2459. We've got departure on 125.2.
SkyWest 4106, exit left at Yankee.
Exit left at Yankee, SkyWest 4106.
25.2.
Aeromexico 649, Los Angeles Tower, wind 220 at 5, fly heading.
SoCal departure, good day. This is Delta 2459 at 3,000 feet, heading 250 on the Summer 2 departure.
Delta 408 Heavy, contact Los Angeles Center 132.3, take care. Center on 132.3, Delta 408 Heavy. Delta 2459, SoCal departure, good day, radar contact, cleared direct NOG, resume the Summer 2.
Cleared direct NANC, resume Summer 2, Delta 2459. So we have been cleared direct NANC. Direct NANC.
American 764, contact Los Angeles Center 134.575.
Contact Los Angeles Center 134.575, American 764.
SoCal departure, Delta 451, climbing via dots 2, 6,500 feet.
Okay, I'm just going to make amendments to that because we already have NANC.
Delta 451, SoCal departure, radar contact, cleared direct tank, resume the dots 2.
There we go, that's better.
Cleared direct tank, resume the dots 2. Delta 451.
SoCal departure, Aeromexico 649, 3,100 feet.
Aeromexico 649, SoCal departure, radar contact, cleared direct Seal Beach, recent the LAX 1. Climb and maintain 17,000 feet.
Clear direct Seal Beach. Resume the LAX 1. Climb and maintain 17,000 feet. Aeromexico 649.
Need to be below 12,000 feet.
SoCal departure, Delta 678 Heavy, climbing
Let's
via
listen
Dock
to
2,
that
2,000
engine.
feet.
That engine is roaring. Sounds very
Delta
nice.
678 Heavy, SoCal departure, radar contact, cleared direct Nulg, recent the Dock 2.
Cleared direct knock, resume the dots 2. Delta 678 Heavy.
SoCal departure, SkyWest 4108, climbing via Dots 2, 800 feet. SkyWest 4108, SoCal departure, radar contact, clear direct any, recent the Dots 2. Clear direct any, resume the Dots 2. SkyWest 4108. Delta 451, contact Los Angeles Center 132.85. Center on 132.85, Delta 451.
Alright, past 10,000 feet. Landing lights come off. Transition, climbing up to transition, which is usually 18,000 feet in the US, so just wait for that.
SoCal departure, SkyWest 3704, climbing via Orca 5, 800 feet.
Delta 1438, contact Los Angeles Center 132.3, have a good one.
Contact Los Angeles Center 132.3, Delta 1438.
SkyWest 3704, SoCal departure, good day, radar contact, cleared direct kegs, recent the Orca 5.
Cleared direct kegs, recently Orca 5. SkyWest 3704.
Delta 678 Heavy, contact Los Angeles Center 132.85.
Center on 132.85, Delta 678 Heavy.
Alright, I'm just going to flip beyond ATC to the AI controller as we're going to do our last bit of climbing up to our cruise altitude, and then we will just be watching the climb and enjoying the cruise while we have some chilled lo-fi music playing in the background. See you when we are closer towards our top of descent.
SkyWest 4108, contact Los Angeles Center 132.85. Contact Los Angeles Center 132.85, SkyWest 4108.
Los Angeles Center, Delta 2459. Good day. Climbing via Summer 2, 17,800 feet.
Delta 2459, Los Angeles Center. Good day. Continue climb to flight level 230.
Continue climb to flight level 230, Delta 2459.
Ladies and gentlemen, please keep your seatbelts fastened while we seatbelt signs on. We recommend that you keep your seatbelt fastened whenever you are seated. Toilets are located at each end of the cabin. Remember that smoking is not permitted at any time. This includes cigarettes. In just a few moments we'll commence our in-flight service and bring you the chance to purchase from our selection of freshly delivered
Los Angeles Center, Southwest 958, leaving flight level 198 for flight level 380 direct control.
drinks and snacks from the bar. We accept payments in cards, using most major currencies and debit and credit.
Southwest 958, Los Angeles Center.
And if we can be of any further assistance, then just ask us as we join you in the connection. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, in a few minutes we will be serving food.
Southwest 958,
All aisles are
contact
clear.
Los
Bags are
Angeles
placed
Center
in the overhead locker
127.1.
Much appreciated. Thank you.
Contact Los Angeles Center 127.1, Southwest 958. See you.
Delta 2459, climb maintain flight level 360.
Climb maintain flight level 360, Delta 2459.
Los Angeles Center, Southwest 2652, descending VLC to flight level 286. Southwest 2652, Los Angeles Center, copy.
Good day, Los Angeles Center, Southwest 857, descending via Rocker 2, 17,500 feet.
Southwest 857, Los Angeles Center. Delta 2459, contact Los Angeles Center 119.05.
Contact Los Angeles Center 119.05, Delta 2459. Los Angeles Center, Delta 2459, climbing via Summer 2, flight level 238.
now about to serve our breakfast and lunch menu. Please make sure your tray table is in the down position and clear any items from the aisle. Thank you.
Center, Southwest 717, flight level 390.
Southwest 717, Los Angeles Center, copy.
Los Angeles Center, Southwest 453, flight level 370.
Southwest 453, Los Angeles Center, roger. Southwest 1994, contact Los Angeles Center 127.1.
Center on 127.1, Southwest 1994, see you. Los Angeles Center, Southwest 4640, descending via 98, flight level 191.
Southwest 4640, Los Angeles Center. Southwest 453, contact Los Angeles Center 127.1.
Center on 127.1, Southwest 453, see you.
We are about to serve our hot drinks menu. Please make sure your tray table is in the down position and clear any items from the aisle. Thank you.
Southwest 717, contact Los Angeles Center 127.1.
Contact Los Angeles Center 127.1, Southwest 717. Have a good day.
Los Angeles Center, SkyWest 3167, flight level 289er.
SkyWest 3167, Los Angeles Center.
Los Angeles Center, United 368, descending via SAT 8, flight level 350.
United 368, Los Angeles Center, copy. Delta 2459, contact Oakland Center 128.7.
Center on 128.7, Delta 2459. Oakland Center, Delta 2459. Good day. Flight level 360.
Delta 2459, Oakland Center.
Atlantic 27.
Southwest 1789, Oakland Center. Good day.
Center on 126.9er, Delta 2459. Oakland Center, Delta 2459, flight level 360.
Delta 2459, Oakland Center. Skywest 3320, contact Oakland Center 128.7. Contact Oakland Center 128.7, Skywest 3320. 5331. Contact Oakland Center 128.7.
Contact Oakland Center 128.7. SkyWest 5331. Have a good one.
Delta 2459. Contact Oakland Center 127.45.
Center on 127.45, Delta 2459. Have a good day. Oakland Center, Delta 2459, flight level 360.
Delta 2459, Oakland Center. Southwest 1145, contact Oakland Center 126.9er. Have a good day.
Center on 126.9er. Southwest 1145.
Oakland Center, November 399 Kilo Tango, good day. Descending via Vineyard 1, flight level 201. November 399 Kilo Tango, Oakland Center, radar contact. November 399 Kilo Tango, contact Napa, approach 22905, take care. Contact Napa approach, November
Southwest 753.
Oakland Center 119.475, Delta 2459. Oakland Center, Delta 2459, flight level 360. Center on 127.8, Delta 2459. 360.
Delta 2459, Oakland Center. 1139. Good day. Flight level 333.
Southwest 1139, Oakland Center, roger.
Oakland Center, Horizon Air 2022, flight level 395.
Horizon Air 2022, Oakland Center, radar contact. FedEx 3820 for heavy, contact Oakland Center 127.8.
Center on 127.8, FedEx 3824 Heavy.
Oakland Center, United 1942, flight level 354. United 1942, Oakland Center, radar contact, continue climb to flight level 360. Continue climb to flight level 360, United 1942. SkyWest 5394, contact Oakland Center 126.85, take care.
Contact Oakland Center 126.85, SkyWest 5394. Have a good one.
Horizon Air 2022, you were assigned flight level 400. I show you at flight level 389er. Climb maintain flight level 400.
Wilco, climb maintain flight level 400, Horizon Air 2022. Oakland Center, United 1449, flight level 329er.
United 1449, Oakland Center, roger. SkyWest 4775, contact Oakland Center 128.8, take care. Contact Oakland Center 128.8, SkyWest 4775, have a good day. Seattle Center 124.85. See you.
Center on 124.85, Delta 2459. Have a good one. Seattle Center, Delta 2459. Flight level 360.
Delta 2459, Seattle Center. 2022, Seattle Center, expecto City Tree, runway 10 right.
Expecto City Tree, runway 10 right, Horizon Air 2022.
Alright captains, and I am back in the seat. I see that air traffic control has designated runway 10 left on the Timber S3 descent, so
United 1942,
for the
contact
Timber
Seattle
S3
Center
arrival,
121.4, have a
let's
good
just
one.
have a look at our flight plan and see what we had planned. So
Center on 121.4, United 1942.
Just want to see where we are riding into. There we go, 10 left. Okay, and we are set. Can have a look at our charts. So we'll be coming in from Spencer all the way down to base 3. Okay, and then let's read. So localizer frequency 111.3. So we'll look at that. Red nav page 111.3. IVDG confirmed. Panel tracking 103, and then approach altitude 2000 and minimums of 293. Let's just key in our minimums. Have minimums of 293. Key that in, and then we can just pull our ATC for now. We'll tune into the frequency to have a more refined
Delta
ATC.
2459, contact Seattle Center 121.4.
Center on 121.4, Delta 2459. Have a good one.
200 at 13
Seattle
knots.
Center, Delta 2459, flight level 360.
Okay, altimeter.
Delta 2459, Seattle Center, copy.
Have temperatures of 7 degrees. The wind's coming in from 213 knots. Strong wind. Flight level 18, so 180. 18,000. Then we're gonna go for full flaps landing. Alright. Then I just want to key in our arrival airport's frequency to just listen to the ATC once we are in range. The ATC 128.35, just make a note of that. Okay, and just key it in on our radio.
Seattle Center, United 1374, flight level 350.
United 1374, Seattle Center, roger.
I think we can call in ready for descent and then start making our way down.
Delta 2459, approaching our top of descent, ready for descent.
Delta 2459, descend via Timbers Tree arrival, Portland landing runway 10 left, altimeter 3014.
Descend via Timbers Tree arrival, Portland landing runway 10 left, altimeter 3014, Delta 2459.
Alright, we currently weigh, let's just have a closer look, 60.9 tons. So let's do our landing calculations. 60.9. So at the low brake we will be using majority of the runway. The medium brake should at least have us using less than half.
United 1942, contact Seattle Center 125.8.
Right.
Contact Seattle
For the
Center
medium brake on this
125.8,
one.
United 1942.
Let's have a look outside. Very cloudy, lots of unsettling winds a bit. Just looking at the wing flex, we've got some rough conditions. Have a look at the cabin crew and see what's been happening. Signal sign is on, that's fine. Passengers need to use the toilets. So far the flight experience is good, no issues at the moment, that's good.
Delta 2459, contact Seattle Center 125.8.
And
Contact Seattle
traffic.
Center 125.8, Delta 2459. Take care.
There they go.
Seattle Center, Delta
Very thick
2459.
cloud conditions.
Descending via Timbers Tree, flight level 328.
Delta 2459, Seattle Center, copy.
Seattle Center, Delta 2274, descending via Hawks 8, flight level 380.
Delta 2274, Seattle Center, roger.
Let's have a view outside the airplane. Beautiful views. Beautiful views. Lots and lots of clouds. Loving it.
Good day. Flight level 330.
SkyWest 3779, Seattle Center, copy.
Seattle Center, Alaska 1080, flight level 293.
Alaska 1080, Seattle Center.
Alright, less than 100 nautical miles to go, so we can listen in on our ATC.
Seattle Center, Southwest 2491, flight level 381.
Southwest 2491, Seattle Center.
Portland Airport Information, Quebec. 17010. Wind 175 at 12. Visibility 10. Few clouds at 3,900. Scatter at 5,500. Ceiling 8,000 overcast. Temperature 08. 2.05. Altimeter 3014. VFR conditions. Landing and departing runways 10 right, 10 left. Repack all hold short instructions. Advise on initial contact, you have information, Quebec.
Alright, that was the ATC. We can refine our arrival weather details that we had here. So our refined QNH is 3014.
Ladies and gentlemen,
temperatures we have 8 degrees.
please ensure your cabin bag is safely stowed with your
Winds
laptop.
we have
Your
175
tray table must be stowed, armrest down and
at
window blind
12.
open. You now need to be seated with your seatbelt fastened ready for landing. Please help us by handing in any rubbish,
Okay.
newspapers or magazines that you do not want to take with you. The toilets are no longer in service. Thank you.
KPDX. We have 10 left for arrival.
Delta 1307, contact Seattle Center
20
128.15.
nautical mile radius.
Center on 128.15, Delta 1307.
Seattle Center, United 784, flight level 340. United 784, Seattle Center, copy.
Seattle Center, Allegiant 636, descending via O City Tree, flight level 346.
Allegiant 636, Seattle Center, good day. Horizon Air 2022, Seattle Center, good day.
Seattle Center, Delta 1445, through 14,000 feet for 17,000 feet.
Delta 1445, Seattle Center. Climb, maintain flight level 350.
Climb, maintain flight level 350. Delta 1445.
Alright, just waiting for the 10,000 feet marker, and then once we break below 10,000 feet we'll proceed to turn on the landing lights, and we should get ready to land.
Seattle Center, Spirit Wings 422, flight level 300.
United 1942, contact Portland approach 124.35.
Contact Portland approach, United 1942.
Delta 2459, contact Portland approach 124.35.
Contact Portland approach, Delta 2459. Portland approach, Delta 2459. Good day, 14,800 feet with the numbers.
Delta 2459, Portland approach. Good day, altimeter tree 01 tree, expect a visual approach runway 10 left.
Altimeter 3013, expect the visual approach runway 10 left, Delta 2459.
Right, so we're going to be vectored in to initial fix and final approach, so that's going to make it a bit more fun, as it's going to involve a bit more somewhat manual flying, so looking forward to that. 3,500 feet to go until our 10,000 feet marker. The arrival airport is just less than 40 nautical miles out, so we are almost there. And with regards to our cabin is secured, the crew is seated, everybody's ready for landing, so that's good. and we are below 10,000 feet, we can turn on our landing lights. And into the clouds we go.
United 1942, Velocity heading tree 10. Expect radar vectors for visual approach runway 10 right.
Velocity heading 310. Expect radar vectors for visual approach runway 10 right. United 1942.
And we currently weigh 60.6
Portland approach,
tons.
southwest 3263. Good day, 15,100 with information Romeo.
Stroke on the median.
Southwest 3263, Portland approach. Altimeter tree 01 tree, expect a visual approach runway 10 left.
Altimeter 3013, expect the visual approach runway 10 left, southwest 3263.
Got a speed constraint coming up. It's around 210 knots. So beyond this point going in, can pass 210 knots. Okay.
United 1942, turn left, heading tree 15. Descend, maintain 4,000 feet. Altimeter tree 01 tree. Vectors for the approach. Expect further clearance in about 18 miles.
Turn left, heading 315. Descend, maintain 4,000 feet. Altimeter 3013. United 1942.
Alright, we'll take manual control of the speed and drop the speed to just around 200 knots.
Delta 2459, turn right, heading 020, intercept the 10 left localizer, descend and maintain 3,100 feet, altimeter tree 01 tree, vectors for the approach. Turn right, heading 020, intercept the 10 left localizer, descend and maintain 3,100 feet, altimeter 3013, Delta 2459.
020 and then intercept the localizer. We can hit the landing systems.
Portland approach, Allegiant 636. Good day, 16,900 feet, we have Romeo on board. Allegiant 636, Portland approach, altimeter tree 01 tree, expect a visual approach runway 10 left. Altimeter tree 01 tree, expect the visual approach runway 10 left, Allegiant 636. Allegiant 636, descend maintain 7,000 feet, altimeter tree 01 tree. Descend maintain 7,000 feet, altimeter tree 01 tree, Allegiant 636.
Alright, and we've captured the localizer.
All aircraft be advised, information to the air and now current, altimeter tree 01 tree.
3013. Drop to 170. Oh, we've got some rain. It's going to be a wet landing with the approach mode. Captured the localizer and glide slope. Medium brake should be perfect for this. Alright, runways in sight, activate
Portland approach, Horizon Air 2022, good day, 16,900, we have Sierra.
Go full flips.
Horizon Air 2022, Portland approach, altimeter tree 01 tree, expect a visual approach runway 10 right.
The gear coming down, can turn on the gear.
Altimeter 3013, expect the visual approach runway 10 right. Horizon Air 2022.
Got full flips and we are ready. Can pop out the aircraft and see how it looks from the outside.
Airport is at your 12 o'clock 10 miles. Report the field in sight. Delta 2459, airport is at your 12 o'clock 10 miles. Report the field in sight.
Okay, we're looking for the field.
We'll report field in sight. Delta 2459.
United 1942, turn right, heading 065. Intercept the 10 right localizer. Descend and maintain 3,000.
Got got a strong
Turn
crosswind.
right, heading 065. Intercept the 10 right localizer. Descend and maintain
It's going to be a
3000.
challenging landing.
United 1942.
Proceed to armor spoilers. Okay, we've got the field in sight. There we go.
Delta 2459, field in sight.
Delta 2459, clear visual
systems
approach
checked.
runway 10 left.
And we're good to land.
Cleared visual approach 10 left. Delta 2459.
Landing gears down, signs are on, cabin is ready, spawn.
Delta 2459,
Flex
contact Portland Tower 118.7.
Over to Tower 118.7, Delta 2459. Portland Tower, Delta 2459, visual runway 10 left.
Delta 2459, Portland Tower, wind 185 at 1 tree, gust 19er, runway 10 left cleared to land.
Runway 10 left cleared to land, Delta 2459.
1000.
Very, very windy conditions. Looking at releasing the autopilot a little bit low for today's landing. Just want to make sure we make it safely down and we can avoid a go around. Alright, around 500 feet above, we can take control from here. Keep her on the center.
100 above.
Oh,
Minimum.
challenging.
200.
Light slope. Light slope. Light slope.
40. 30. 20. Retard. Retard.
Alright. She's challenging landing there. Almost going off the runway, full reversers out.
Delta 2459, exit right at Alpha Tree.
Exit right at Alpha 3, Delta 2459.
Ladies and gentlemen, the cabin crew will shortly be leaving their
Jeez,
seats
that
for
was tricky.
safety-related duties. However, we ask that you remain seated until the seatbelt sign has been switched off. Portable electronic devices for messaging
Can start
calls,
running
or
our
internet
APU.
access may now be used. Please make sure that you take all your personal belongings with you, checking in the seat pocket, underneath the seat and in the overhead lockers. Do take care when opening the lockers in case anything falls out. Smoking is not permitted until you reach a designated smoking area. On behalf of the captain and the crew, it has been our pleasure looking after you today. Our ground crew will help you complete your self-loading cargo journey. For the latest news, promotions, flight and destination information, check out our official Facebook page, Twitter or the official self-loading cargo app. Thank you.
Should have gate D7. Let's just hold here.
The requested position is already
Delta 2459, contact ground 121.9er.
Ground 121.9er, Delta 2459. Delta 2459, request taxi to assigned gate.
Delta 2459, gate Delta 7 taxi via Whiskey, Alpha, Kilo.
Please remain seated until the captain turns off the seatbelt sign.
Right.
Once that happens, we will start
Gate Delta
the
7 via
order
Whiskey,
Gate.
Alpha, Kilo,
Thank
Delta
you.
2459.
Can proceed to turn off our strobe light and our landing lights.
United 1942, gate Delta 1 taxi via Charlie 6. Hold short runway 10 right.
Gate Delta 1 via Charlie 6. Hold short runway 10 right. United 1942.
Oh, we've got another lane.
United 1942, cross runway 10 right at Charlie 6. Continue taxi via Bravo 6.
Was there a takeoff?
Alpha.
That's a takeoff. I'm going to
Cross
check it.
runway 10 right at Charlie 6. Continue taxi via Bravo 6. Bravo, Tango, Alpha, United 1942.
Get the wind conditions. Very, very tricky conditions. Take a left turn. Got stock scenery for this airport. Nice traffic variation from the traffic being pumped in by Beyond ATC. Pretty cool. Alright, we are about to make our turn in. Let us just clear this parking from AI. Proceed to turn off our taxi light. Okay, let's make our turn in. down.
Cabin crew, please disarm doors and cross-check.
Southwest 3263, ramp Echo 9er taxi via Alpha 4, Alpha.
Ramp Echo 9er via Alpha 4 Alpha, Southwest 3263.
Southwest 3263, cross runway 10 left at Alpha 4. Continue taxi via Alpha 4, Alpha.
Cross runway 10 left at Alpha 4. Continue taxi via Alpha 4 Alpha, Southwest 3263.
That's it. Can set up parking brake.
SkyWest 4049, gate Delta Tree, request pushback.
SkyWest 4049,
AP
Portland
is
ground,
available.
pushback and engine start approved.
And
Face
we can
northwest.
turn off our engines.
Pushback approved, face northwest, SkyWest 4049.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's it. We have arrived at Portland International Airport. Tricky landing conditions upon arrival. We've seen that we had gusting winds pushing us to the right hand side of the runway, but nonetheless we made it safely. We've landed, and that's what our passengers need. So welcome again to Portland International Airport, and I trust that you enjoyed the flight. I certainly enjoyed having you as my passengers and having you as fellow captains flying this with me. So enjoy your stay in Portland. Let's release our passengers. So we're gonna drop our seatbelt signs, and after dropping our seatbelt signs we can then proceed to drop the beacon lights, and that should just signal that we want to start the deboarding process. External powers available. We can connect to the external power.
Ladies and gentlemen,
and we
your
can
portable
turn off
electronic
our
devices must
APU.
not be used until you are inside the airport. When disembarking, please take care and hold
Turn
on
off
to the
our fuel
handrails while
pumps.
walking down the stairs. Please ensure that you supervise your children, and for your own safety do not walk underneath the wheels.
Leave the emergency
Thank
lights.
you.
Alright,
Passengers, the boarding started.
let's have a look at our landing details.
SkyWest 4049, ready to
Alright,
taxi
not
to the
bad.
active.
We had a landing of minus 171 feet per minute, so it's under 200
SkyWest 4049,
and 1.2
runway
Gs.
10 left taxi
So
via
that's
Kilo
great.
Echo.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again. Let's head outside
Runway
the
10 left
aircraft,
taxi via
and
Kilo
I'll catch you
Echo,
next time on our
SkyWest
next
4049.
flight. Keep on.